For many, January means filling in application forms in the hope that your child will go to your first choice of school. But how honest will you be? A study has revealed that a quarter of parents admit to having bent the rules to get their child into their preferred school. So, when it comes to your child's education, Judy, does anything go?
Look, your child's education is really important. Depending where you are, you might be in an area where the schools are not great, and you got to do what you got to do, boo-boo. I mean, you know, to the rules, your rules.
What would you do, boo-boo?
Look, I would do whatever I can. Do you understand what I'm saying? Maybe the head teacher needs little cake, little fruit cake or something like that. A little bit of fruit. Like, I would do whatever I can, which is not going to get my child or myself in trouble, but I will push to the limits. You know, there's so much different examples of maybe where you live in the area, the schools are not great, and if they get into that school, then the social environment and the kids that they hang around with really change, and we're living in really difficult times. Or you might have the money to move to a different area. I notice now when I'm looking at houses, it will say what the schools are, the best school around the area, and whether they're, like, outstanding. And this is a thing that parents are looking at. If you can do that, you can do that. If you can't, then you're going to have to find other ways to try your best to get your child into a better school. That's what I think as a parent, you want to give them the best opportunities they can.
And did you do that for yours? Because as a single parent as well.
You know, where I used to live, definitely as a single parent, I was worried about, you know, the secondary schools, and then I've moved to a different area. And I always had, like, that 3-year or so plan. I was fighting. I was in social housing. I was fighting to be moved because of my son's health and so on. And finally, when I did, there is a good school near to my home, and I did everything I could for my son to get in there. You know, whether that's getting references, making sure he applies for a scholarship, all those kind of things. And I was heavy on it. And I think I didn't take my foot off the ball, and luckily he got into the good school. But that was me really pushing and doing all what I could, beyond than just filling out an application form.
Wait, Denise, did your parents not pull a few strings with you?
Well, yeah, they did. I mean, because obviously it's interesting that, you know, that what Judy says about the fact that, you know, there are some areas different, people's circumstances are different. With my own kids, we had a choice of really good schools. But my mum and dad, so when I was, what were you then? I was 11, sort of past my 11 plus, and I was meant to go to this particular grammar school in the northeast that my parents, I don't know why, but they thought I might have been a little bit of a rebel sort of child. I don't know why. I don't know what gave them that impression. But they didn't want me to go to this school that they deemed was a little bit rough. And so there was a convent school in Jesmond in Newcastle, which is no longer there now. And if you were christened, baptised Catholic, you got in. So they would take non-Catholics, but you had to pay more money. If you were Catholic, you got in for a much cheaper rate, like half price or something like that, whatever it was. And so I was baptised Catholic, never brought up a Catholic. In fact, once took the wrong turning to go to church because Debbie and I wanted to become Christian Scientists for a year. But anyway, but I'd never done communion before, so suddenly I'm in a queue to do communion.
We've got 15 seconds. Did you get into the school?
Yeah, I got into the school. I was 2 years in a convent.
But you weren't a Catholic.
Such a good girl. Thank you very much.
It really shows as well.
I've never ever known about a half-price deal to get into a convent school.
Well, it was Jess Convent School, so Google it.
It's not there anymore. Are you surprised?